What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 12 of The Baseline. I'm back, Eddie Montanez here with Zach Zavanchik, and in a minute or two, our buddy Mike Pupo is going to be joining us. We're going to start off today with Team Japan's early showing in the exhibition games. I see that they're playing really well. I saw Lars Nootbaars playing really good. I saw Tawny hit an absolute nukes. So I think that this Team Japan team could really come out and maybe uh, make a run for it, but I don't really see them getting past DR or USA after Pool A.
No, I mean, like you were saying, there, Shohei Ohtani's showing up. He's hitting really well. I know they said he's to be pitching and batting for them, but yeah, I mean, Shohei's showing up. Obviously, Lars Nootbaar showing up too. There's another guy that I saw a video of that's a monster with the bat too. I'm gonna butcher the name, but I'm gonna try it. Munetaka Murakami, 23-year-old kid from Japan. I saw a video of him. He barreled one up and crushed it. I mean, crushed it. Like we were talking about, I don't know if it was last week, 2 weeks ago, about some of these guys from Japan. They got some power bats over there, and there's a lot of guys that I would like to see come play in the United States in the MLB sometime. But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. They have a lot of really promising guys playing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying about the guys coming up. I definitely feel like not only with Team Japan, like we're gonna see a lot of players that we don't know, like from Team Venezuela, maybe Canada. Like all these teams might have some real good studs that are not in the MLB, and I'm looking forward to see what they could do and see what they could do against MLB players, especially.
Yeah, I mean, Team Japan, like I said, has a good lineup, and like you said, I don't see them getting past teams like USA, Dominican. I mean, I know Puerto Rico is a pretty good team too. I mean, I think those three teams are going to be the teams to beat this year. But I mean, I think Japan might have a chance at it. I mean, I think they're going to get pretty far.
Yeah, I saw they were ranked in front of Puerto Rico. I wouldn't agree with that just for the lone fact I think Puerto Rico's team's better just because they're almost in the MLB and not a lot of us know uh, uh, what they could do. But like what we said, like there's a lot of players that I think that are going to come in and show what they could do against all these MLB players. And
Yeah,
here's our buddy Mike joining the stream. Here's Mike. Do you have anything to say on the Japan thing, Mike?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean their team's absolutely loaded. You look at Shohei, Yu Darvish is on that team. Shohei already has 2 home runs. I don't really see the US beating them if they were to play. But I think Japan, and first time in a long, long time, Japan has a really good team this year.
I completely forgot about you. I think that.
Yeah, I knew you. You was the one pitching the Murakami or whatever the hell his last name was.
Yeah,
that I said he crushed that ball.
I definitely forgot about you. So I definitely think that with you and Ohtani as the 1 and 2 probably, and we all know that there are some freaks in Japan that could pitch too. Like Senga came from Japan. So like I definitely think that Team Japan is nothing to be messed with. I definitely think that they could come in and show what's up. Especially how we've been keep saying there's a lot of people that we don't know what they could do, especially from all these other countries that are not in the MLB. So it's going to be really fun to see what Japan and not only them but other teams that we don't really know about do in the WBC.
I know they have Seiya Suzuki's playing for them too. He had a pretty good season beginning of last year. I mean, I think Suzuki's a good player. He just kind of fell off later in the season, but
yeah, I definitely
think he can help them out too.
I think he was top 3 in NL Rookie of the Year.
He was for a while. I mean, even probably around the All-Star break, maybe he was still in a running for it.
Yeah, so I definitely think this Team Japan team could come out and do something. But what's up, Mike?
Do you know when they play next?
I don't know when. I think Japan plays like March 9th. I know tonight the Netherlands play Cuba at like 11 p.m. So I'll probably stay up for like an inning or 2 of that.
I think Japan plays tomorrow at 5 a.m.
Yeah, they play early, so like we're not gonna really be able to watch a lot of it. I only really saw a couple clips on Instagram, so like.
Yeah, their time difference is a little whack.
Yeah, I mean, I can watch the games on my way to work at 5, but
Yeah, who wants to do that when you're on the way to work?
No.
All right, on to our next topic. I see that the Team USA and Team DR lineups are absolutely disgusting. Like Team USA got Trey Turner leading off, Mookie batting second, Mike Trout batting third, Goldschmidt batting fourth, Alonso batting fifth, Arenado batting sixth, Kyle Tucker batting seventh, JT Realmuto batting eighth, and Jeff McNeil batting ninth. That lineup's actually disgusting. You have the NL batting champ batting ninth on Team USA. You have arguably the best third baseman in the league batting sixth. You have Kyle Tucker batting seventh. Like, I don't think you could really argue that this lineup. Well, you definitely could argue, but I definitely think, in my opinion, this lineup is probably the best in the World Baseball Classic. But definitely, like with DR's lineup, like they got Julio Rodriguez leading off, Juan Soto at second, Machado third, Devers in the hole, Hernandez fifth, Wander Franco sixth, Eloy Jimenez seventh, Adames eight, and Gary Sanchez nine. I would give the edge to the USA lineup because I definitely think that they got the better catcher and better DH, Alonso and Eloy, and then JT and Gary Sanchez. But if you really look at the pitching, like the DR's pitching is insane. Like it could be a 1 through 5 in the MLB. Like it's actually disgusting.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead,
go ahead, Mike.
There you go.
No, I mean, USA's lineup, I love it. I mean, those are some really good bats, really good, fielders, outfielders. I like the Jeff McNeil and Kyle Tucker. Them two guys, in my opinion, are underrated by a lot of people. I mean, Kyle Tucker has a really good bat. He's a really good outfielder. Jeff McNeil, great second baseman. Really, I'd say really good bat. I mean, you guys probably know more about it than I do, but I mean, I always like Jeff McNeil. I like Kyle Tucker. I mean, I think they're gonna play a better factor than most people probably think.
Do you have do you have the pitchers for DR off the top of your head?
Framber Valdez, Christian Javier. I know them two are in the rotation. That's just gross right there. Give me a sec. I'll look it up if I can.
If their pitching is significantly better, I would probably take them over to US team. Just looking at the lineups, I think the left field.
Their pitching is Sandy Alcantara as their ace. They got Framber Valdez as the 2, Luis Castillo as the 3, and then Javier as the 4. That's just gross.
Yeah, that is gross. I think their left fielder, obviously, Soto's better than Tucker. Other than that, who's that second baser for them? I don't know. Who would you take over? Would you take Franco or McNeil?
I take McNeil just for the bat. Yeah. But like I definitely think Wander's defense is better, but McNeil's bat is just really good.
Yeah, McNeil batted what, like 321
last year.
321 last year. Yeah, that's gross. And we got him for dirt cheap, didn't we?
Yeah.
In the offseason. So that's huge. But just looking at these lineups, like you guys said, I think Team USA has the better bats and the Dominican Republic has the better pitching. But although the bats aren't really that far off, I mean they're kind of loaded. I mean, Julio.
You gotta think, like they got Starling. I don't think Marte's playing in the baseball class, but they got Pena on their bench. They have a lot of good bench bats as well.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that this team is probably gonna win the whole thing. But I definitely think Team USA has probably the best lineup. But just for the plain fact that Team DR's pitching is absolutely gross and loaded, I feel like.
Did you guys see Puerto Rico's pitchers?
No.
All I know is that Edwin Diaz is on the team.
Yeah, they have Edwin Diaz, Jose Barrios, Jorge Lopez, Emilio Pagan, Marcus Stroman. That's about the only names I recognize.
Stroman played for the U.S. in 2017, so.
He's on Puerto Rico.
yeah, I know. Like, you could do that, but it's just great because he dominated for Team USA like in 2017.
Yeah.
So. All right, on to our next topic. Jose Quintana is likely to miss some time due to a rib injury he suffered in the spring training game. I definitely feel like this is going to hurt the Mets, and I don't feel like it's going to hurt us that much, to be honest, because I definitely feel like David Peterson is one of the best sixth man guys you could probably put in a rotation if one of your starters get hurt. So I feel like David Peterson is probably going to take the nod at the 4th, or move Cookie up to the 4 and then put Peterson at the 5, or even McNeil at the 5. But I definitely think that losing Quintana definitely sucks, because I definitely think that both McGill and Peterson would have been good in the bullpen, really good in the bullpen for like if we need people to eat innings. So I definitely think losing Quintana for a couple months is going to suck. But although I definitely think putting Peterson in is not going to be – I think putting Peterson in is going to be like just the same, since he's going to be the 4 or 5 anyway. So I definitely think it's not going to hurt the rotation as much as people think it will.
Yeah, because they just picked him up, didn't they? The free agency this year. Yeah, so really got to see what he's going to do yet. Because I mean, if he got hurt, he probably didn't really pitch yet. So
yeah, and the 2 times he got pitched, to be honest, he got shelled. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he got shelled. When he got hurt, he had a 45 ERA. Like, what? So I definitely think that, like how I just said, I don't really think it's gonna be a big deal, since he was our number 4 anyway, and we could just plug in McGill or Peterson in there. So, you have anything to say on that, Mike?
Yeah, he is a little older, and he's been around with a bunch of teams. But I mean, honestly, I don't think it's really going to hurt us that much, because, like you said, you could put Peterson in, but I don't know. Peterson's always either like up or down. Like he has like a great outing, and sometimes he gets shelled. But like he's a big lefty, and I like that, because we have however many guys in our starting lineup are righties. So with Verlander, Scherzer, and all that. So. Yeah, I mean, a lefty in the lineup would be in the rotation is good, I think. I was never really that big of a fan of Quintana anyway. Sucks he got hurt. I would have rather see him in the bullpen than Peterson, I guess. I'd probably rather Peterson in the starting rotation, probably at 5, and maybe Quintana could help out in the bullpen. And especially when he comes back, I'm sure they're going to probably rehab him in the minors and bring him up, maybe get started in the bullpen if Peterson's doing good or whatever, depending on what injuries we have then. But he'll be back, obviously, but he's going to miss a good bit of time.
I definitely like what you said about putting Quintana in the bullpen. Like, obviously, as people go with age, like, they're most likely going to end up in the bullpen. Like, let's think Tim Lincecum. Guy was an absolute freak for 4 years. Monster. 2 Cy Youngs, 3 World Series rings in his career with Giants. But as he got older, because he was throwing 130 pitches a game, he was a bullpen pitcher. So I definitely think as he gets older, maybe we'll put him in the bullpen. But I definitely like what you said about putting Peterson at the 4 or 5, because how you said he definitely he has a really good outing, or it's a shitty outing. So either way, I definitely think it's not going to hurt us as much, because I feel like Quintana would have produced the same as Peterson or McGill, to be honest. If you have anything to say on that, Mike.
Yeah, I'd rather the lefty, to be honest, in the lineup. But yeah, that's all I really have on that. I mean, I'm not going to be killing myself because Quintana's out for.
Yeah.
Well, did you say that they were going to put Miguel in the bullpen this season?
Miguel and Peterson were both going to be our middle inning relievers, but now that Quintana's, because McGill and Peterson were both starters at one point in last year.
Because I know Miguel had no hitter last year.
Yeah, he was a part of that 5-person no hitter.
Yeah,
I like Miguel.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I don't know as much about the Mets as you guys do, but I mean, I always thought Miguel had a decent arm. I mean, he came up, pitched pretty good last year. I mean, obviously had a couple of games probably didn't perform as well, but I mean, overall, I didn't mind him. I could see him possibly staying in a rotation if there was no other pickups.
All right, on to the next topic. We have the Padres expected to negotiate with Juan Soto and Josh Hader. And honestly, as a Mets fan, I got to respect it. I got to respect what they're trying to do over there in San Diego. They're trying to win just like the Mets are. If their owner is willing to go out and pay Juan Soto and Josh Hader what they want to stay in San Diego for their career, I will give them all the respect, because Steve Cohen did the exact same thing. He wants to win, and San Diego wants to win. So honestly, if they were to negotiate with them and they were to sign, it's going to suck because that's probably going to be the powerhouse in the National League for the next 5-6 years. But I got to respect it just for the plain fact that Steve Cohen and the Mets are doing the exact same thing they're doing, and they want to win.
I mean, obviously, Padres got to try to keep Soto and Hader. I mean, obviously, Soto's Juan Soto. I could see him probably getting a big number contract. Hader, he performed really well with the Brewers. He was one of my favorite, bullpen pitchers in the league. He was dominant. Went to San Diego, kind of got kicked around a lot. But I mean, he's still a guy that I think they should keep. I think he's going to come around this year. I know Hader's probably going to ask a lot less than Soto is, but I still think you got to keep Hader too. I mean, if it came down to picking one or two of them, obviously you're going to pick Soto, but realistically, you got to try to keep both as best you can.
You got anything on that, Mike?
Yeah. I mean, Soto's obviously going to be more of an important signing for them. Is he on contract for this last year or what?
Yeah, he did the arbitration thing, like with the thing the Mets had to do with the beat.
Yeah, so he's definitely getting a monster contract, especially with baseball throwing around all these numbers with big players. Like even Machado got his $350. And like you said, the Padres are doing the same thing the Mets are. They're throwing tons and tons of money at these big players and basically going for it now. But the thing I don't like about all that is if you keep getting guys like you have Machado, then you have Soto, and then you're signing Tatis and all these other guys to like 10-year contracts or 12 years or whatever, you're basically you're going to be stuck with them 12 years down the line. I mean, that's more of so I don't really agree with the long term like that. Like I'd rather sign a guy for like 7, maybe 8 years max, instead of taking the guy into he could be 27, 28 years old. He's going to be 40 at the end of a 12-year contract. So it's and then toward the end, slip down in production and stuff like that. But Juan Soto is definitely worth it. And if they have to give up a 10-year deal to him, if I were them, I would do it because the NL's loaded, probably more so than the AL, at least for the foreseeable future. So any team that's going to win is going to have to spend with teams like the Mets and the Padres and teams that are actually going out there and doing something. Because if you don't, you're just going to be at the bottom of the leaderboards like the Nationals.
I like what you said about not signing people long term. I definitely agree about that. Like, I definitely think signing someone to 6 to 7 years is definitely more safe than signing someone to 11 to 12 years. I'm not sure what the Baltimore Orioles gave Chris Davis at one point, but at one point the guy almost won a Triple Crown. The guy was an absolute monster the year.
And then he sucked.
Yeah, there was one year him and Miggy were going back and forth for Triple Crown. In my opinion, it was them two fighting for that was probably one of the greatest seasons I've ever saw. Two people fighting for an MVP and a Triple Crown. So, like what you said about people not living up to the expectation after they get signed for big money, I definitely think that's a good point because just for the fact that you don't know what they're going to be able to do in 2-3 years. Chris Davis one year didn't have a hit in 67 at-bats. That's insane.
Yeah, I was going to say, he went for 0 for 60-something. And at one point, like you said, he was fighting for a Triple Crown. Like that shit, it's crazy to see how fast some players can decline. And you really have to roll the dice with them.
Josh Hamilton was an absolute monster for the Texas Rangers. 4 home runs in one game, I think 11 RBIs in that game. Goes to the Los Angeles Angels, shits the bet.
There was more to him than
it was more than that.
Yeah.
But crazy how with Hamilton and stuff like that, it's just crazy how they're willing to risk what they have. They're willing to risk what other people dream of, is what I'm trying to say. I dream to be in their position, and the way that Hamilton and Chris Davis didn't do what they were expected to do really sucks. But it's whatever, I guess. So I think what Mike said is a really good point. Signing Soto for that long, he's obviously one of the best. He's probably the best hitter in baseball. So signing him is definitely a priority for them just to have a really good dynasty for the next couple of years. And like how Zach said, they're not going to obviously pay Hader as much as Soto, but keeping Hader is definitely something to do, especially since they signed Nick Martinez for 4 years. If they could have Nick Martinez and Josh Hader in that bullpen as a dynamic duo, that could be really good for them.
I mean, I definitely think Hader's the key part to that bullpen. I mean, I don't really know much of anybody else in that bullpen that can perform or, show up the way Hader's been.
I think that when you look at even though they're two different contract situations with Judge and Lindor, because Lindor left the team but went to a new team, especially going to a market like New York. His first year wasn't that great, and we signed him to this huge contract right away. And everybody's like, oh, he's not even that good. You gave him a big waste of contract, but he's come around. I feel like Lindor's a good guy to invest that much time in. The same with Aaron Judge. The Yankees giving Aaron Judge a long-term deal like that is good. But how many years did he get?
11 for, or you
Judge.
might know.
Judge, he got 9 for 4 something.
9. Man, I thought it was double.
I did agree with 9, but guys like that, yeah, they're not gonna fall off in those years. Like Juan Soto, I don't see him falling off. I just see him getting better as time goes on. So I would invest my money in Soto for sure.
Anything else, Zach?
I mean, I know Soto came to San Diego and struggled batting field-wise. But like you said, the same thing with Lindor. It's going to take more than, a season or so to get used to a situation to a whole nother, region that you're playing in. So, I mean, obviously, I think Soto's going to come around this year. I think he's going to – if he knows he's coming up on a contract deal, I think he's going to perform kind of in the way Judge did, show up, try to crush the ball, try to earn that money.
And before we started the pod, Zach was telling me that Soto's batting at 700 with the shift. And obviously, Juan Soto and all these big-name guys are not getting as many at-bats as all the prospects and all that stuff in spring training. But to bat at 700 and 12 at-bats with the shift, without a shift, is crazy. So, I definitely think, too, Soto's going to be ripping. And he's going to come out and show them why they need to pay him.
I know people were pissed off too about that because they're like, "Oh, he's batting 727 against people that are going to be bagging groceries in a couple months." I mean, yeah, in a way they're not wrong, but you see some of these pitchers coming in, prospect pitchers pitching, they're showing up. I mean, there's a couple guys that are coming up and performing. I mean, you're still facing big league pitchers to some extent. I mean, it's not like they're just picking guys off the street and letting them pitch in spring training. I mean, they're still professional baseball players.
Yeah, they and the shifting is going to be good for Soto too, because you can't just stack everybody on the one side of the infield and stuff like that. That's why I think also the shift with I think Pete Alonso is another one who's going to do good with that.
We're on to our next topic. We got Jason Dominguez and Anthony Volpe's future with the Yanks, and I honestly think both of them have such a bright future for the Yankees. I honestly think that what the Yankees should try and do is try and send Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to Los Angeles because of the fact that Gavin Lux went down and tore his ACL, obviously. So they're itching for a shortstop, second baseman, third baseman, just an infielder to take to really just do what Gavin Lux was supposed to do for him. But Dominguez, dude, he's a stud. He's a stud. Volpe's a stud. I saw Volpe's batting at 353, stole 2 bags, I believe, probably more. So I definitely think Volpe and Dominguez are probably going to get called up sometime this year. I hope that maybe they're opening day starters, but I definitely think that Dominguez and Volpe have such a bright future in the Bronx.
No, I mean, obviously, I'm probably the most excited out of all of us to see these two guys come up. I mean, like you said, Volpe's batting 353 with home run and RBI, 17 at-bats in spring training, and I can only see them numbers going up. I don't see him, hitting a slump, struggling with anything. And Jason Dominguez batting 429, 2 home runs, 1 absolute moonshot. I mean, these are guys that I think are going to play a big role for the Yankees coming up, whether it's opening day, all-star break, end of the season. I could definitely see them coming up the next year or two, though. I mean, I know Jason Dominguez is still young. I think he just turned 20 today. I mean, you're still going to have to let some of these younger guys get their reps. But, I mean, I could definitely see them coming up very, very soon.
There's one other person I wanted to mention on the Yankees that I forgot to add to this. What I've been seeing out of Oswaldo Cabrera has been really, really surprising me. He's been killing the ball. His defense has been really good. I definitely think that the Yankees, with them three, have such a bright future with them. I think you could put Cabrera anywhere from third short, second, and then put him in the outfield. Like, the guy's such a good utility, and plus his bat's been showing up in spring. Maybe it's not. Maybe how Zach said earlier about people getting pissed about Juan Soto always not facing real pitchers, blah blah blah. It's spring training. He's facing MLB pitchers. Like, if we pitched to him, he'd kill us. Like, I don't know why people are pissed. Like, what? So I definitely think that Cabrera, Volpe, Dominguez, they're going to be really good for the Yankees. And it sucks to say that coming from the other side of New York. But, yeah, I think the Yankees are going to have a really, really good time with them three.
Well, they brought Cabrera up the end of last year. He really played well. I was really, really glad to see him performing well. I mean, had a lot of good catches in the outfield, got a lot of good, solid base hits, big runs. I mean, he's another one, like you said. Them three are going to be really good for the Yankees in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Volpe, but I do know Dominguez is an absolute monster. I think he's definitely going to be there this year and going to contribute probably in a big way with him. I mean, he'll probably bat toward the bottom of the lineup, but I mean, he's also a guy that doesn't have to play every single day if he doesn't have to. But I mean, I wouldn't be upset if I was a Yankee fan and having him in the organization.
I saw something else with the Yankees that since Berrios is done, I saw that Clark Schmidt and Domingo Yermin are fighting for the 5th spot. And I definitely think I saw Yermin pitch against the Mets last year in the Subway Series, and I definitely think Yermin isn't a horrible number 5 option. I was talking to Stin about Clark Schmidt. He was telling me that he added a cutter, and it's looking really good. So it's going to be really fun to see who could take the number 5 spot for that rotation, because I definitely think even losing Berrios, that 1 through 4 is definitely still the best in baseball. So I think losing – no, not Berrios, sorry, Montas. Frankie Montas. Yeah. But losing Montas, I don't really – it's definitely hurt because I definitely think Montas is a number 3 on any other team besides the Yankees. But Clark Schmidt and Domingo Yermin have been really pitching good in spring training, so it's going to be really exciting to see who does Cash make the decisions on who is in the rotation?
I'm not too sure.
All right, well, whoever decides who's the number 5th in that rotation, I really don't think you could go wrong with Schmidt. They've really both been pitching really well. And like how Stin told me, Clark added a cutter that's been looking good. So you could throw one of them in the bullpen, obviously. I definitely think they're going to be – one's going to be in the rotation, obviously. One's going to be in the bullpen. So either way they go, I definitely think the Yankees' rotation is still the best in the league despite losing Montes. And like how I said, Dominguez, Volpe, and Cabrera, if they could come up. I think Cabrera is definitely a lock for opening day starter. But Volpe and Dominguez, like if they could get brought up or called up for opening day or even called up during the season, I definitely think they're going to shine in the Bronx.
I think if Volpe keeps batting the way he is, he might come up. Dominguez, like I said, I think he still needs some more reps in the minors because he's so young. I mean, not that Volpe is much older, but I mean, Volpe's had a little bit more time in a farm system to play. I mean, Volpe's in 275 games has 50 home runs, 162 RBIs. I mean, Dominguez has 21 with 78 RBIs or something in about half the games. But you were saying about Clark Schmidt, he was with us for a couple of years now. I know he had a hard time out there. I know he was getting shelled pretty good. But, I mean, he's been coming around the last year or two. Like you said, he added that cutter. I mean, you can't go wrong with either one of them. I mean, Germán, he pitched a couple years ago for the Yankees. I mean, I know he's been coming up a little bit here and there. He's not bad either. He was always fun to watch. Like you said, I don't think you can go wrong either way.
Can you hear Eddie?
No.
Do you have anything else to say, Mike, or no?
No, not really. Not on that, no.
Jordan Walker, next week thing in St. Louis. Dude, when I was talking that whole time, could you not hear me?
No, just right there for a second.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
did you hear what I was saying about Clark Schmidt and Yermin and all that? All right, yeah, because that kind of scared me when he said, could you hear me? But sorry about that. But Jordan Walker, the next thing in St. Louis, and dude, he's been ripping in spring training. Bad. He's batting a .417 with 3 home runs and 6 RBIs and 24 at bats. I think if they could put him in that outfield or even as a DH spot, I think that lineup in St. Louis could be really disgusting.
He has a career 310 average right now too in the minors. 33 home runs, 116 RBIs in 201 games. I mean, he's fun to watch. He's definitely going to be a good key component at some point for the Cardinals. I can see him coming up soon too.
And he's huge. He's 6'5". So like,
yeah,
I definitely think that this guy could definitely be the next big thing in St. Louis. Like, he's been killing the ball in spring training. If they call him up for opening day as a DH or put him in right field, because I think that they have Carlson and Tyler O'Neill in left and right. I'm not 100% sure those center fielders. So I definitely think that Walker might play opening day or get called up for opening day as a DH or somewhere in the outfield. But no matter what, called up opening day or called up during the season, I definitely think this kid has a bright future.
I do too. I mean, being 6'5", he's only 20 years old, and he literally looks like he's like 35. Like he does not look like a 20-year-old kid at all. And I don't think there's any doubt about it. He's gonna be on that opening day roster. And he did play a lot of third base, if I'm not mistaken, right? He played a lot of third base.
I know he's taken a lot of reps or some reps at third at some point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he played a good bit in the minors at third, but he does have a huge arm. I think they said he's throwing like 98 or something.
That's
so
insane.
like, who knows wherever it's gonna go. That's obviously why he's not on the hill. But yeah, I'm excited to see him. The Walker train there. Everybody's on the hype train of Walker, and the Cardinals need that. I mean, they won the division last year, but another bat like that and a nice arm in the outfield. I mean, I don't think they're gonna. I mean, they'll make playoffs again, but I don't think they're gonna go much further than that. But it could definitely help them be like a bother to somebody in the first round of the playoffs. Maybe knock somebody big out. Hopefully not the Mets again, but hopefully we're not one and done.
Yeah, Walker's gonna fit into that lineup really good. Like, they have Goldschmidt coming. Like, they have Goldschmidt, Arenado, they have Tommy Edman, Tyler O'Neill. Like, they have really good bats in that lineup, and I definitely think adding Jordan Walker in that lineup somewhere, like even 8, 7, 8, 9, like that's gonna be dangerous for some teams, especially like how I said, Goldschmidt reigning MVP, Arenado arguably the best third baseman in baseball, Edman's a freak, Carlson's really good, O'Neill played all right last year. Like, they could be a problem again.
I know they just have a lot of good bats too. Like, all of them got on base a lot, got a lot of nice solid hits or clutch hits and stuff. Like,
and adding Contreras too. I forgot about got rid of Yachty. We'll take Wilson Contreras.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So like,
that was huge.
Really good. Like, I think St. Louis is also a really good team in the National League. So like, the National League is going to be tough with the Mets, St. Louis, Braves, Padres. Like, there's a lot of good teams in both divisions. So this year is going to be insane.
Yeah, and the Cardinals, like you said, are always. I mean, since they've had Yachty for however many years, he played a ton. Like, they've always been big on like a good catcher. And I mean, I'm surprised Yachty played that long at catcher. That's very hard to do on your knees and all that stuff. But yeah, as soon as they went out and they still got Contreras right after him, again, one of the top catchers in the league. They're really big on always having a solid catcher, which is smart. I mean, have one guy who could be there for however many years, work with the pitchers and be on the same page all the time. Like with the whole pitch clock thing, like we were talking about before, a little while ago, how like the pitchers and the catchers are gonna have to be on the same page with like the signs and stuff and get it off quicker than they ever have before, because if you don't, it's a wasted pitch. So yeah, they definitely had a good move with getting Contreras. So
you don't realize how big having a good backstop like that is until it comes to that point.
On to the next topic. There's a lot of players who have been showing out in spring training. Francisco Lindor's batting at 389. He's been playing really good. He just left for the Puerto Rico World Baseball Classic, so we won't be seeing him anymore for spring training. But there's a lot of guys who have been surprising me, like Tim LeCastro from the Mets as well. The guy played for the Yankees, I believe, last year a little bit. and
Yeah.
he didn't play much, but the guy is really fast. He's a really good base runner, but he's also batting at 363 with like 4 doubles. So there's a lot of guys in spring training that are coming out and are trying to earn a spot. I don't think LeCastro's going to sniff the field for the Mets as much as any of the other outfielders. He'll probably be like a Travis Janikowski last year, might start 3 games. But like, there's a lot of guys like Corbin Carroll's been doing good. Corbin Carroll just hit a triple in like 10 seconds the other day. Like, that's crazy.
I was about to say Corbin Carroll's I could see him make an opening day roster for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
He's a freak.
Like, there's so many guys like Brett Beatty's batting 471 in like 18 at bats. Like, Kevin Biggio from the Blue Jays is batting at 368. Like, there's so many guys that have been doing good. Jason Hayward has 2 home runs and is batting over 300 on the Dodgers. Like, there's a lot of guys, especially like older guys, that are showing out this spring training. Nelson Cruz just hit a home run the other day too for the Padres.
Yeah, that guy's like 60 years old now.
Yeah,
I know about it. I like Gunnar Henderson a lot, actually.
Yeah. There's 2 people that have been really surprising me in spring training, and one's Jared Kelenic from the Seattle Mariners. He was a part of the Edwin Diaz trade, so he was a Met prospect, but obviously we traded him to the Mariners. But the guy has 4 home runs this offseason, this spring training, and he's batting 412. So like, he's doing really good for 17 at bats and 4 home runs. He's doing really good. And also, there's another guy. Alec Bohm has been surprising me. Like, last year, he was a part of the Phillies NL pennant team, obviously. But this spring, he's been doing really good. I saw he got much stronger. He looks more muscular. Like, the guy's probably going to be a big problem in the NL if he could continue producing like he is in spring training for the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, I think we hit on most people I was going to bring up, like Jordan Walker, Volpe, Dominguez, Soto. I mean, a lot of those are most of the guys I was going to hit on. I mean, I know Judge, he came back, he got a couple at bats in, he hit a home run. But like I said before, there's a lot of really good prospects coming up the next couple of years that are going to be problems for a lot of teams, and I think they're going to help a lot of teams.
One that you said, Ed, was Alec Bohm has been surprising, even, during last year. I mean, he almost got ran out of Philly at one point. His glove was absolutely horrendous. Like, I always knew he could hit and stuff, but he really did improve his glove a lot because it was bad. Like he was one of the worst field at third base.
He had 2 errors against the Mets in winning.
Yeah. Might even been 3 and 2 innings or something like that. That's crazy.
But yeah, he's been actually doing really good this spring, and like, I know Trey Turner, he's been killing it. So like, yeah, there's so many players that have been doing really well, especially like there's players that we haven't heard of in so long, like Roman Quinn. He has 3 home runs. Like, that's crazy. No one's heard of Roman Quinn.
I brought him up to one time, wasn't he? He's with the Indians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't know if he'll make the opening day roster. Do you?
I mean, maybe first, like, as a base runner, but like, I don't think he'll be on the field.
Yeah.
For the Guardians. Do you have anything else, Zach? Or?
No, I mean, we hit on everybody. I was going to say about Corbin Carroll, how fast he was with that 10-second triple or whatever, but that's about all I got.
All right, now our last topic for this episode is we're going to predict who's going to win the Cy Young for the AL and NL. So, Mike, you could go first.
We're
gonna do NL first and AL.
To be honest with you, I'm probably gonna go with Spencer Strider. I don't know. I hate the Braves, but I mean, he's good. The Braves pitching staff too is loaded. I mean, that's gonna be tough with them in the division. But I'm definitely gonna take Strider for sure. I think I just the way he pitched even in his rookie season was just absolutely phenomenal, and he's going to be the number 1, right?
Yeah,
he has to be.
Him or Fried?
He has to be. I think he's better than Fried. Fried is good though, but I don't think he would be Cy Young. I don't think he's Cy Young level. But we'll see about Strider. I think Strider for NL.
And then who do you think for the AL?
Why don't let's just all say our NL first. I gotta think
All
about
right,
that.
yeah, we'll do that. You can go
All
then,
right.
Zach.
My NL, I would say, is almost a given. I mean, I'm going to go with Sandy Alcantara just after his season last year. He was absolutely dominant. I mean, it wasn't even funny watching him pitch last year, and it wasn't even something like he kind of came out of he more or less came out of nowhere. I mean, I know he had a good season a couple years ago, but last year he won the Cy Young, fourth in strikeouts, 207, and he had a 2.28 ERA. I mean, he was dominant last year. Like nobody was touching him. But I mean, Mike said Spencer Strider. I didn't really think of that as much, but I mean, I could definitely agree with that as well.
For mine, my NL Cy Young, I'm gonna go with Zach Gallen from the Arizona Diamondbacks. His second half after that All-Star break was absolutely gross. After the All-Star break, he had an 82 record with a 1.49 ERA, and after the All-Star break, he was fifth in Cy Young voting. And for the whole year, he was 12-4 with a 2.54 ERA. So the guy had a very solid year. So I'm gonna go with Zach Gallen as my NL Cy Young prediction, and now we're gonna go with the AL starting with Mike again.
I really want to go with Shohei, but I mean I don't know. I'm just thinking like it's gonna be like he doesn't just pitch, so like he's playing all the time. He's batting and stuff like that. I mean, he's a great pitcher, but I don't know if he's gonna have Cy Young caliber pitching season. And like, imagine if he won Cy Young and AL MVP.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts. That would be absolutely insane. So I'm not really gonna pick him. He'd probably be my second one, but just because he bats more, I'm not gonna pick him. I'd probably go with. For some reason, I have a feeling that Alek Manoah is going to have a huge year this year. I don't know why. I just have
I
a
like
weird,
that.
yeah, I have a weird feeling about him being a Cy Young candidate. At least I feel like he'll at least finish top 3 in it. But I'm gonna go out and say that I think he's possibly going to win it.
For my AL MVP or AL Cy Young, I'm gonna give you a hot take and just say Rodon. Not because I'm just a Yankees fan. I mean, he is dominant. I don't think people realize how dominant he really was, out west and hopefully going to be on the East Coast. But 14-8 record last year, 2.88 ERA. He was first place in K per 9 last year with pretty much a 12. That's crazy. But I mean, coming to New York, he's surrounded by a lot of other good pitchers like Cole, Nestor, Severino, all of them. I think that's going to help boost his confidence, maybe get them numbers up. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Rodon for AL.
For mine, it's kind of tough for me because like I know what DeGrom could do if he's healthy and plays a full year.
I
Like
was thinking that too.
I know DeGrom, I know if DeGrom can stay healthy, like honestly, the guy's probably winning the MVP. The guy's a freak. Absolute monster when he's healthy. He's gonna have a sub-1 ERA when he's healthy for the Rangers if he's healthy. So with mine, I'm gonna say DeGrom if he's healthy, but if he ain't, I'm honestly gonna have to say one of the pitchers from the Astros, Christian Javier, Framber Valdez. I don't think you could go wrong with either of them. Like Framber Valdez, we saw what he could do in the postseason. Absolutely dominated the whole entire postseason. He set an MLB record with 29 quality starts last year, and he had a 2.82 regular season ERA. So I don't think you go wrong with either of them. Obviously, we saw Javier also no hitter had the World Series. He dominated 5 or 6 innings, I believe, as well. So honestly, I'm either gonna have to go with DeGrom if healthy, pitching the whole year, or one of the top 2 from the Astros, Framber Valdez or Christian Javier.
I like the DeGrom thing. I was going to say something about him, but like I can't even bring it up just for the fact that he's not going to be healthy. He's not even healthy right now, and the season didn't even start yet. So yeah, I have a weird feeling about Manoah for some reason. I know Zach don't like to hear that with his being a Yankees fan.
No, I definitely like Manoah, especially like since they added Bassett too. Like their rotation's honestly not bad. They have also Kevin Dawson, so their 1 through 3 is honestly pretty good. But I like that Manoah pick. He was top 5 in Cy Young voting last year, so I definitely think Manoah's going to come out and show people that he should be the Cy Young.
I mean, I was also thinking about Manoah too. I mean, he came out last year, obviously made the All-Star team, pitched extremely well all year. But in my head, I just couldn't give enough, examples on why he could win it this year. I mean, he definitely could. Definitely think there's a chance of it, but I don't know. I still think Rodon has a beat for it.
All right, and that's going to wrap up today's episode of The Baseline. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 12, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Peace out.